We've got some stunning new Enchanteds, a massive amount of a Fox and the Hound cards, including our final legendary for Winterspell, and a board wipe but not in the ink color you might have expected it. What's up, Illuminators? It's Charlie and Matthias, hot off the back of another Discord main stage focusing on the design today. We have so many card reveals to look at. We're almost at the end, but not quite.
Probably one more video after this one to cover all the base cards at least. But also we got to see some more things about the design side, right? Maybe we go straight into that before the cards?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. Lucas, who is the game design manager, I believe, was there as part of this call, talking about how they've kind of used this set of Winterspell as a way to reshift the focus of the different ink identities. So it was kind of well established for the first 10 sets, kind of which ink color did which thing, which abilities they had access to, which keywords they had access to. And they've kind of redefined that, as you've probably seen and we've commented on as the cards have been revealed. So they shared this, basically a breakdown of how that's kind of being updated. So Amber remains kind of the same in terms of keywords. So Bodyguard, Singer, Support, we knew about. The same for Amethyst, Rush, Challenger, Evasive. Emerald is the one that they said they kind of done a lot of work to kind of rework. So Ward, we always knew about. Evasive, we always knew about, but they have added Resist. So specifically on the opponent's turn, which I think is a really interesting spin on that. And they did say it was because of kind of Emerald's identity is not necessarily wanting to challenge. It's more wanting to punish you for challenging Emerald Glimmers.
And I think they actually also said the Emerald itself always struggled a little bit on the keyword side. So they saw there was something lacking. Yeah. So that was a nice approach. And we have some cards we're going to go through and we've been through as well that shows that element of resist on the opponent's turn.
Yeah. And the other thing, sorry, about Emerald, which isn't here because it's not a keyword and it's something we're going to look at as well today, is the fact that now there are abilities that directly deal damage to characters. It doesn't rely on placing damage counters or...
initially to be able to do the damage.
Yeah, or that's having correct. A character already damaged. It's direct damage, which we used to see more in Steel.
And that's a good point as well. Like, again, the things that we're seeing on screen are all based on keywords. Of course, each of those ink identities have way more that we can expand on. For this exercise, they were focusing on the keywords and how they are distributed across the board. Right?
Yeah. And Ruby, again, what we know, they did introduce the Singer in Fabled, but they said that that's kind of going to be few and far between. Really, Amber is the ink that has the Singers. Sapphire, they've added Alert. So I don't remember if we saw Sapphire characters with Alert in Whispers in the Well, but certainly in Winterspell, we have seen that. And then Steel remains pretty much the same as well. They gained the
with
alert,
the inclusion of the alert as well.
Last set. So really interesting. We have a whole video all about kind of the ink identities, what they mean from an art perspective, what they mean from a design perspective, if you want to check it out. And I think we might have to give it a bit of an update.
We're just going to give a link here and we'll update in the future. It's just interesting to see how 2 of those colors or 3 of those colors have 4. Mm-hmm. It's like, but still we see Amethyst getting a lot of other benefits because obviously it's quite overpowered as well. But that's super cool. That's not all though. They also talked about improvements for the draft and how do you say this type of play?
Limited?
The word limited. There you go. Yeah. So let's go through that.
Yeah. So again, another really interesting thing. They said they kind of wanted to take a moment this set to reflect back on what the draft experience is. And I think by extension, the sealed experiences. They said they really liked how this experience played with the first chapter, kind of what distribution of cards they had in the first chapter, and try to replicate that almost for Winterspell. Sorry. So you can see here them doing a little bit of an exercise in this spreadsheet, something very familiar to Matthias, I'm sure, for his balancing.
Yes.
Essentially just trying to make sure that there was a fair representation across all of the different inks, so that when you do go to a draft or a sealed event, then you're going to have kind of a good pool of cards to pick from. The other really important thing is they said they're updating the rules of draft and sealed to only use 35 cards. So currently you have to build a 40 card deck, which means, especially in draft, I think it's only 4 cards or something you don't put in your deck. So you don't really have that much flexibility. And certainly if you've ever done a draft, it's always the worst card comes back to you at the end. So by doing 35 cards, you can be a little bit more kind of curating of your deck to make sure you get something nice and fun to play with.
And again, it goes without saying, but just in case, when we say 35 cards, it doesn't mean that's the maximum, that's the minimum. Yeah. So if you want to go above, you can, as much cards as you got in that pack, right? Or those packs. But 35 is a perfect balance according to them. And we are very excited to try that out, especially with Winterspell draft event. So we do every single set. We've been meeting with our friends and doing a draft between ourselves. I'll be curious to see how much that changes with this new approach.
And if you've never done draft, again, we have a video all about how to do a draft, how to run a draft. It is a really, really fun format. It's actually, a lot of us say it's our favorite format.
It is our favorite format.
Especially when it's a new set, because you get to get introduced to a bunch of new cards, a bunch of new ways to play.
And I think even from a collection perspective, right, draft gives you the chance to, if you come with the mindset of actually, I just want to get those less cards I need for my set. I don't mind if I lose the tournament, that's okay. And there's the other element of actually experimenting with the new cards. So I think it fits the two different player profiles, and it's fun, right? Especially when you play with friends.
And the first ever draft I did, or we did together, but one person on one side of me and the person on the other side, they both opened a pack and got an Enchanted. I was in the middle with no Enchanted.
But then the second one, you got an Enchanted yourself. You got the
in the second draft,
Namari,
yeah,
Steel,
all the way back in Rise of the Floodborn.
After that, we never got anything.
So, so that was all of the design information. I know it is on YouTube on the Lore Chronicles channel if you're curious. For us, we're designers anyway, so we nerd out about all of this. So it was really fun to hear, and getting to see behind the curtain, I think it was really fascinating.
And actually a huge shout. I feel like, not to compare directly, but this was one of the best main stages I watched. In terms of, I felt like there was so much honesty from the Ravensburger side. On the design side, they were saying, actually, we appreciate that we could have done this way, and it was a mistake for this set. Even the way they introduced the concept of the shift with the superhero. We can talk about that later on. But I liked how they said, in retrospect, they could have done differently, and they missed out on that. But they know what they can do to do even better next. So really big kudos, because it was amazing.
And I think that's one of the things with design is it's always iterative. The first thing you do is never the best thing you do, and you always are improving and improving. And I think it shows a lot of humility for them to be able to say, hey, we could have done this better.
And being open to feedback, right? I think it's hugely important. Let's go to card reveals.
Let's go to card reveals. And actually, the big thing that was revealed during that main stage is this Raging Storm. As in it, cost an inkable action, banish all characters. It is our board wipe back in the game, and we're looking at the enchanted version of it here. I mean, there's so much to talk about when it comes to the actual card itself. First of all, the art, absolutely stunning. Beautiful. Such a beautiful art. Both this and the super rare version that it's based on, absolutely gorgeous. And we have a board wipe back in the game.
It is in number, which was a shocker. It's funny because the timing couldn't be more perfect, because there was like some notes that DKP shared on Facebook saying, oh, we're expecting that board wipe. He was saying, I believe it's going to be Umber, and he was spot on. Obviously, he gave the reasons why he think it would be Umber. But I think for people that are less competitive like myself, it came as a surprise. Like, just looking at a card like this, we all expected to see more likely on Ruby, more likely on Steel, even though they have their own forms of that. When it comes in Umber, it's a shock, but also it makes a lot of sense. It does also confirm that Umber is probably going to be one of those to look for competitively with the set. I'm actually quite scared. I think Umber is the deck color now, especially. Not because of this card only, it's just the combination of everything we've been seeing so far, right? It's like you can go fast, you can go aggro, you can actually just have a very wide board. But if you want to play in the other play style with a Sapphire or whatnot, you can actually also be a board wipe. So it's like all the combinations and choices here. But very exciting to see. As for the art, super quickly, I love this art. I'll finish that. I love the art of the Enchanted.
Okay, great. But I think it is really healthy for the game to have a board wipe. We saw that with Be Prepared, and I think there was certainly a bit of a vacuum coming out of rotation. I will say I think this is a lot worse than Be Prepared for a number of reasons. The first being it's not a song. It's slightly more expensive at 8. And the fact it's in Amber does limit its kind of applicability, because Be Prepared, you could pair it with kind of every ink color, more or less, and it would work. Maybe not Steel, but it could work to an extent. I think this, because it's in Amber, it either is going to pair with Sapphire, which is cool. We could see a Sapphire Amber control deck. It could pair maybe with Amethyst, just because Amethyst does have access to a lot of ways to draw cards. Because I think one of the issues is it's hard to get to waiting in Amber a lot of the time, because you kind of have less good card draw options. You often are playing more low to the ground, so you either need effects that kind of help you get ahead in ink, or you need effects that allow you to draw cards to be able to sustain you to that point in the game. So because of that, I don't think it's as scary necessarily as it might first appear. There are very, very few actions and effects and abilities in the game that reduce the cost to play actions. I think there are only 3. They're all in Emerald, and 2 of them rely on characters questing. So it's very telegraphed. So if your opponent wants to play this currently, they've got to pay the full 8 ink, so you can kind of know it's coming. You can play around it, and there's a lot of action hit in the game with things like Peeds, with Mowgli's, with it would dodge Ursula, which is nice.
Yeah,
but
that is true actually. Yeah,
I'm very curious.
But Ursula and Be Prepared was never a problem early game, right? If you just don't put it in your hand, I just feel like even if this was a song, I can't see people using Ursula to take that
but
out.
good players would play Ursula hold back on turn 6 and not turn 2.
They'll hold back. Yeah,
but I mean, I think people can play Mowgli. We've got Pete. We've got the new song from Pocahontas. So I don't think it's as scary or as powerful as it looks, but I think it's very good for the game, and I really can't wait to see what people build.
I'm very curious. I do want to say as well, I think that's also why it is in Umber, right?
Exactly.
I think there is a reason why Be Prepared was rotated out. I think I'm hoping they experimented a lot and play tested a lot with this to see. That's why it is an 8 cost. That's why it's not a song. That's why it's in a color pairing that is more limited. I'm just similarly to what I said previously with the Wrecker-Off card, the legendary one. I just feel like I want to now play this color because I want to use the card, but I also struggle because that would mean likely going with Sapphire, and I'm not a big Sapphire player, as you know. So it's a tricky one. I wish I could pair this with Amethyst in the same way that Be Prepared was very easily paired, and it actually was the key, a combination, right? But that's not the case. At least
I think you can pair this with Amethyst in kind of a more
but in the same successful rate or success rate as it was with Ruby Amethyst, I don't think so.
Maybe not, because you're lacking some of the other removal in Amber. But I mean, how
it's exciting though. It's very exciting. We
could talk about this for hours. It's really fascinating.
You'll see our face eventually when we finally first realize this card, and it's crazy.
Okay, next we're looking at another Enchanted, and I would say probably the most beautiful Enchanted in the game ever. This is Tod, knows all the tricks. 7 cost inkable, 6/6 questing for 2. Floodborn shifts in at 5, evasive, and has the ability Impressive Leaps. Twice during your turn, whenever this character is chosen for an action or an item's ability, you may ready him. We'll talk about the effect in a second, but let's talk about the art, because wow.
There's a lot to talk about. It is my favorite as well. Maybe the second or third favorite, because I still think the older cards. It's so hard for me, right? Because artistically speaking, this set is my favorite. And I feel like I'm repeating myself every set because it gets better and better. But artistically speaking, the cutout art style, right, that are keeping very consistent is my favorite. I love Tod. I love foxes. Everything is there. I love the art, as you said. I think a comment that we've been hearing a lot among our friends is more to do with how do you make it the character still look like Tod, right? Because that looks like a fox. That doesn't look like Tod. But then I actually overanalyzed that, and I apologize for the overanalyzation, but I actually went through a full process yesterday where I went through every single Floodborn in the game to understand why Floodborns are more successful with humanoids versus animals, because animals are very limited, right? Because that's a Tod. But when I showed this to my friends, they're like, this is not Tod. He has a white ear. He has the white face, the white this and that, the point of the ears, right? And the point is, how much can you push with an animal that is not using outfits to represent a Floodborn? Because you see on the characters, usually you play around the outfit, you play around in the hairstyle, but you don't change the color. In exception to Gogotomago Floodborn. That's the only one that actually touched a characteristic of the body, right? But with animals, we don't have the same space. So I do understand where they're coming from. How could you push further for a Floodborn that is, even in reality, when you watch The Fox and the Hound, it's actually 2 animals that it's not actually very... I could not myself look at that out of the context and know that was Tod. Copper may be closer. I know that it's missing the playful side, etc.
Yeah, because I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit, because I do think, like, objectively, if I'm not thinking of this as a card representing Tod, I think it's like unbelievably beautiful. As I said, probably the most beautiful card I've seen in Lorcana. But I don't think it does the best job of representing Tod. And I know you're saying about the Floodborn, but we're gonna look at the legendary card this is based on. I think does look a lot more like the character of Tod. I think even like taking the embellishments out of it, I just think the face of this character, if I showed it in isolation, like you said, I don't think anyone
You wouldn't know.
You would say like that's a very beautiful piece of art featuring a fox.
But I don't think I would know if I see the legendary that we look at as well. I wouldn't know that's Tod either.
I would know.
But that's what I'm saying. Oh, well, we know because in the context of Lorcana.
No, but I think
it's just a fox. And I'm not, again, that's not no shade. I'm not saying as a shade. I'm saying that when we look specifically to the fox and the hound, apart from everyone else, the two main characters, I don't think they are as... What is the word I'm looking for? I don't think if I see copper out of any Disney context, I will know that was copper. And maybe it's my memories of the Fox and the Hound. And it's the same with Tod. I would say this is a fox that could be anywhere. I'm not talking about this art. I'm talking about Tod. Right? So it's so tricky with those two characters.
We'll have to disagree because I do think when you see the other cards, like it's very Tod, like the expression.
The expression, yes.
But I think because of this art style, and this is the last we'll say about the art, but I think because of this art style, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to that kind of overly expressive like way of representing the characters. You see it more with other cards, and I think, as Matteo said, like hair, clothing, all comes into it. It works better, I think, with more like something like the card with Lilo, right? Ohana Main's family. She's very like caricature-y, the way she's designed.
Yeah.
So it reads a lot better, like as Lilo.
Yeah.
Even the cards we're gonna look at, even the previous card, right? That we just looked at. I think you can see it. It is harder with an animal. But okay, so that's the Enchanted. It's based on a legendary card which was revealed. We'll show that later on. But I do think the effect actually on this one is quite interesting. Certainly, there are a bunch of cards to support this card, which is something we've seen across the different inks. So we saw with Darkwing Duck, there's a lot of cards supporting Darkwing Duck. There's a lot of Fox and the Hound cards that seem to kind of want to support Tod and being able to quest for a lot. So essentially, you can quest with him and then target him with an item or an actions ability, and then he'll ready. It can be an effect that readies him normally. It could be something like giving him support with an action. Things like that, it's going to ready him, allowing him to quest more. In Amber, you could do something like use Good Job on him, so he'll quest for 2, ready him with Good Job, then he'll quest for 3, maybe ready him with another Good Job, and then he'll quest for 4. So there are some interesting things there. It's limited to only twice per turn, and yeah.
And that would be insane, right? Imagine him questing 2, 3, and 4. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in one turn. Because if you're ready yourself. Super cool. Yeah, let's stay at that. Again, beautiful art. No one is questioning that. It is so far my chase for Winterspell in terms of Enchanted, right? So no shade there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, probably mine too. After all of what we said,
but it's beautiful. There's no denying, right?
And I think art's subjective. And,
and I wouldn't know how to do differently. I think it's perfect. Yeah.
So next we're looking at another Enchanted card. This time it's Anna, Soothing Sister, based on the legendary card we already saw. And I think, this kind of goes to show what an impact having clothing to work with and having hair to work with on a character. Because, the face maybe is like not as descriptive again because of the art style, but kind of when you see the setting, when you see the dress, it's very clearly Anna and looks amazing.
It's beautiful. And I'm, again, like listening from the community, everyone is raving for this card. Raving is the opposite because they love it, and I do love it. And it's funny because when the Anna Emerald Legendary from a few sets ago came out, the one that she's in the throne, I was like, why is that not Enchanted? Because of the posing. And I almost see her here again because of the hair being tied and being centerpiece with this arch behind her. It's stunning. And I actually think this card is very interesting as well gameplay wise, but we covered that in the previous video, so you can watch there. And of course, Frozen getting another one. But again, it's a Winterspell theme. It makes sense. They didn't get an iconic, so that's fair on them. It's gonna be hard to not want all the Enchanted because it's beautiful.
I'm such a sucker for any Enchanted that leans into the floral side, because it was the same with Arcasia's Island. I love the flowers.
It looks like a tattoo, right? It's almost like it's a work of art. It is.
Okay, we have another Enchanted next. This is Darkwing Duck Cool Under Pressure, based on the legendary card. Really cool, actually, that the hero franchises from the set, the Darkwing Duck, Fox and the Hound, Lilo and Stitch, the series, and Frozen, all getting represented in Enchanted cards. And I guess that means we're probably going to see a Mickey's Christmas Carol.
I hope so, but that's the way to go. Personally, I think that's really the way to go.
I think when they pick like left field ones, it's sometimes nice, but I think you can do that when balanced with featuring the
But
kind
that's
of the
it,
hero
because
art.
it's an introduction to that set everyone was expecting, which also begs the question, right? Are we getting like a Pocahontas, for example? Because that's the other one. We have the iconic, but not everyone have the same access, right? So I would hope one of the Pocahontas card gets that as well. I think is only fair. And I had more thoughts, but I don't remember now. Art-wise, beautiful again.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people that are looking forward because they love Darkwing Duck. It's cool. I think Rochelle made a point in the stage that it's nice to see, or maybe it wasn't Rochelle, but it's nice to see coming from the blue smoke. You can see the blue smoke around, which is very representative, right? I struggle seeing, I think it's because it's so low res, the version we have, but I struggle seeing the layers as much as I can see in the other cards. Maybe because the layering is more on the borders, right?
Yeah.
But it's another one of those, oh my God, this is beautiful.
It's really clever because obviously the paper cut style lends itself to like very geometric shapes. So like the character design normally it works quite well, and it's just simplified versions. It's so cool seeing the smoke, and I get the same kind of with the water from Tod. Like the smoke naturally is very organic shaped, so seeing it with the hard edges, the kind of the cutout, it's such a cool effect.
I imagine like
love
those,
so much.
I imagine like those theaters layers, right? Those styles of theaters, and it's moving around. It's just beautiful. And imagine this in person as well. Oh,
yeah, I can't wait. And this is one that I didn't predict, but
I did not either.
Really cool. Is Negaduck.
Negaduck, yeah.
Also getting enchanted, almost like the mirror opposite of Darkling, right?
Well, it is his
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger, yeah. So super, the colors as well, stunning. I almost wonder if this is supposed to be like a continuous art, because they are both on the rooftop.
Yeah, it's missing the smoke though, right? The other one has smoke all the way around, but
I think it's because it's hiding.
Maybe it's from like a different perspective, but
super cool,
really cool as well. And it's cool. So it is two different artists. I was checking when it got announced, but I was like, they've really both got like such a similar style the way they've approached the cards. So it is cool that, as Matthias said, they do feel like they've almost been designed as a set. So,
and of course we've seen this card we reviewed in previous videos, so go check it out. This one is in Dutch. Is that right?
I think that's German.
Sorry, yeah.
So okay, so that's all the enchanters we've got at the moment, and we'll move on over to the actual card reveals, starting with Amber.
Let's do this.
And so just quickly starting in Amber, we have Raging Storm. So this is the super rare version of the Enchanter card we looked at. Not much to say about this one, but I really love this art as well.
I do as well. Again, it sounded like I was being shady earlier. It's just that I find 20, and then the Enchanted really fulfill my need of the presence. I think this one is more focused on the storm, right?
I think that's
the heavy
it,
element of the storm, which fits very well with the card. Versus the other one, I almost saw like it was so cute. You could really feel the family together, and it's amazing to see how Lilo and Stitch is loving it, but none is like, oh my God, what's going on? It's amazing, and of course, it's from Alice Pisson, so it makes sense that it's not only impactful but also beautiful.
And next up is another super rare, and I've just like everything online has been so overwhelmingly positive about this. This is Lilo Rockstar, 6-cost inkable, 3/5, questing for 2. She's a Floodborn, can shift in at 4, and has the ability I'll count you in. Whenever this character quests, you may play a character with cost 2 or less from your discard for free. Amazing. If you think back all the way to set 1, this is kind of the accompaniment for Stitch It, Rockstar's band. The same subtitle, which is really cool as well. So it's
Floodborn as well.
Yeah, 3/5 as well. So it's nice that there's really that echo of Lilo from the past, or from Stitch in the past. So amazing. It breaks my heart, and I know a lot of people said that this wasn't the set championship card. It would have been so cool, especially because the first set champs was Stitch Rockstar. Maybe we're gonna get Lilo Rockstar in the future, because I'd love to see this as an Enchanted.
That is very true. But I do like Tinkerbell. I'll give you that, because it's so beautiful.
Tinkerbell looks really cool.
It looks so cool as well. But it's interesting. There's some synergy between those two cards as well. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because Stitch Rockstar is if you play a 2-cost or less character, you can exert them to draw a card. Lilo will let you play them from the discard for free. So I think it might be kind of difficult to set up in competitive play. I do think one of these will get removed before your opponent lets you do that synergy. But I mean, if you are able to set this up, imagine you quest with Lilo, you play a card from your discard for free, which is card advantage. You then exert them, you draw another card with Stitch, which is more card advantage. You then play your some of these characters that you can be played for free, like Pudge. Just throw Pudge down. You could really swarm the board if you have a good turn. So I think there's a lot of fun stuff. I'm excited to see.
I'm terrified of the.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm terrified of a little stage competitive deck because there's so much synergy.
It's been years since I played Hearthstone, but my favorite deck was this like decks that swarmed the board, and I think there's a lot of potential between these two. And with so many cost reduction things, maybe you'll be able to shift both of these on the same turn and do some absolutely crazy things. So really, really excited to see what people do with this.
I just realized that she has the same three feathers, umber feather like as his mohawk hair.
Oh, yes.
Like the references across the board. It's just, it's so beautiful. Good
Marta
job.
did so good with this one. Next up, we have Widow Tweed Kindly Soul, a 6-cost and inkable 2/8 questing for 2 with the ability, I've got you. When you play this character, return a character card from your discard to your hand. If that character is named Tod, you may play him for free. So quite cool. As I said, we do have quite a few cards that are kind of supporting Tod as a card you would build around. There are lower cost Tods you could return and then play for free, but if you're able to play the Floodborn one for free with Widow Tweed, that's like a huge jump in ink. So yeah, it could be a really fun one. I think normally maybe a little bit too expensive as a 6-cost uninkable, but yeah, I think if you do want to build an Emerald Amber Fox and the Hound deck, could be a lot of fun.
This one was revealed by Duelo de Tintas. I feel like I talked about it.
You talked about it with me.
I was with you, and it broke my heart. You have to watch that. I mean, anything with this movie is going to break everyone's heart, but they did such a good job, the two girls, and with their little dog. So go check it out on Duelo de Tintas.
And this isn't even the saddest looking card from Fox and the Hound.
I'm just thinking on their review. Their review was so sad.
But brace yourselves because there's a side card coming up. Next, though, we have Grandmother Willow, Ancient Advisor, 2-cost and inkable, 1/2 questing for 1 with the ability Smooth the Way. Once during your turn, you may pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. So it means you could play Grandmother Willow on 2, and then you could play one of your 1-cost characters for essentially free right away. So it is a really nice spin. A lot of these effects required, or at least the ones on characters, required them to exert or to quest. So with Grandmother Willow, it becomes kind of like a static ability. So you can leave her upright and be playing characters. And
I think what's cool, they were saying in the main stage, right? As soon as she's on the board, that effect it's already there, right?
Yeah.
So really, in the same turn, you could make good usage of that if you're playing in the ramp in the right time. And also, of course, that also questions the function of Lantern, right? When you think side by side as an item or something that plays in the same turn, it's just super cool.
Yeah, I do think
it's strong. I think it's very strong.
I do think it's strong. It is an inkable, sadly, and I do think the advantage with the Lantern is it's a lot harder to remove items generally than a character, but still, I think by the time your opponent either uses their removal, which is limited to get rid of her, or they get something like an Elsa on turn 5, you've probably already gotten so much advantage out of this, especially if you kind of play strategically and time it right. So I do think there's a lot of upside to this one. It's just really...
Do you think it will see play for Amber? I think
I think it can. Like Amber has a lot of tools now to kind of swarm the board. It has tools to refill hands, and she can even, be singing the 2-cost songs as well. So she's got a few things going for her, which
it's quite early game as well, right? It's hard to remove her in other means because you don't need to quest. You can just leave her there, right?
I've got a bone to pick. So it's got Miko in the background, but there's a Flit in the background. But where's Percy? There's not been enough Percy this set.
It's hidden somewhere.
Oh, and you know what? We didn't see Ratcliffe yet. So I wonder if we're going to see a Ratcliffe.
We didn't see Ratcliffe's friend.
Oh, I don't remember his friend.
I forgot his name. The skinny guy. Yeah.
Hey, nanny. That's all I remember.
Hey, nanny.
Next up, we have Sarabi, Protector of the Tribe, a 4-cost inkable 4/4, questing for 1 with the ability Frightening Roar, exert, chosen opposing character gets -4 strength until the start of your next turn. Could be cool, maybe paired with Emerald or Ruby, where you want to reduce an opponent's strength down so you can then target them with your strength-based removal. Could be a good one in Sealed as well. These kind of cards that reduce strength, especially when it's lasting until the start of your next turn, can be quite disruptive. So
it's quite a lot of strength you're reducing as well. I think it's also important to say that she's a queen, and there are a lot of synergies for queen as well in that element. Yeah. So that makes a huge difference.
That's true. You could quest with your turn 1 Cinderella, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Reduce her cost.
Yeah.
Quest with turn 1 Cinderella, play Mother Willow, and then get her down for free. Why not? Next up, we have Chief Pohatan, Protective Leader, 4-cost inkable 5/5, questing for 1 bodyguard with the ability Stands his ground. This character can't challenge. Honestly, I think this is excellent. This is probably one of the best bodyguards
that
we've seen in a long time.
Literally, in our Instagram, people are asking, why is this not a legendary? Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's too much, but it is. I think that it is that powerful. This card.
I think you put this in dogs. You set up a whiteboard and then throw him down, and now it's so
because you're not
difficult.
there. You don't want to challenge anyway,
Yeah.
right? That's not your function at that point. It is so early game for a 5/5, and he's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this card for Amber. Amber, like as
gone.
a long time Amber lover, I'm like eating so well this set.
I'm gonna be Amber. We should have started this video eating well.
Next up, we have Bambi Ethereal Fawn, a 4-cost Inkable 3/5 questing for 1. He is a Whisper, so you can boost him for 2, and has the ability Come See. During your turn, whenever this character exerts, very important, whenever this character exerts, reveal a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards under him. Put all revealed character cards into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So I actually think this is another really interesting, strong card that has a lot of upside because it's exerting. You can quest, you can sing, you can challenge, and you get that effect. But it also means in Amber, there's a lot of effects that not a lot. There are a few effects that will ready your character. So you can quest with Bambi, play something like Sven, Reindeer Steed, and then sing a song in order to exert him again. So you could be drawing quite a few cards that way. Of course, does require a little bit of setup, but it is possible. You know, you could trigger him twice in a turn. Trigger him with something like Lilo causing an uproar as well. You could even potentially play Lilo for free if you exert him with an action. Yeah, a really interesting one that I'm curious to see. I just think, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Amber has so many good ways to draw cards.
It is insane. It is insane.
Yeah. And I have to call out the art of this one. It's Viv Tanner, who is, I think, one of my favorites.
It's my favorite.
Yeah,
again,
one of my favorite
always
artists.
found Enchanted, best one at all.
Yeah, Viv does incredible artwork.
It's the lighting, right?
Yeah, like this to me is like Enchanted quality art. It's so beautiful.
Extend the whole thing. It's already Enchanted, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Do a cutout around now.
Yeah.
Paper cutout.
So it's so beautiful. Love to see Bambi getting a really strong card there, and I'm curious to see what people can cook with that. Next, we have Mother Will Protect You. This is a 2-cost Inkable song. A character of your choice. I'm reading the translation here. Chosen character of yours can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. Yes. So, I think it's fine. It's a little bit of disruption. I think the effects like this that are on a body, like John Silver, I think are a little bit more effective because you're building the board whilst also protecting your characters. It's on a song, so you could get it for free, which is good. But I think if it was giving you card draw or something as well, maybe it would be a little bit stronger.
It's not chosen character of yours though. It's any character, no?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because chosen character of yours will be just on your side.
Yes.
So you choose the character and they cannot challenge. It could be
yours.
No,
they can't be challenged.
They can't be challenged.
So you
cannot be challenged.
Yeah.
A character of your choice. No, so it might be a chosen character of yours then.
We were looking at the German version, so we're not fully sure, but I think either way, the card is not that great. Next, we have Lilo Snow Artist, which is great. So we've got Lilo Escape Artist, now we've got Lilo Snow Artist with one of the snowmen that have been popping up in the back of some of these cards. A 1-cost Inkable 1/2 questing for 1 with the ability Creative Inspiration. While you have a character named Stitch in play, this character gets +1 lore. We've got plenty of cheap Stitches now in the game, so you could for sure play Lilo on turn 1, play a Stitch on turn 2, play some Pudges for free as well on turn 2. Why not? Because you've got Lilo in play, and then she's going to quest for 2. So
it's not accumulative. Exactly like Lady, right? It's just a one-off, but it's still
and it is good. And like I said in previous videos as well, I think it's really interesting. It's cool to see these cards that are kind of relying on other cards to get the synergy turned on. It works really well with the lady that Matthias mentioned, and Lilo has the advantage of being inkable, whereas that lady is uninkable, which can be a problem sometimes. So yeah, I really like this one. It's another really good card for Amber aggro, and I'm for sure building an Amber Steel Lilo and Stitch deck. I can't wait.
I was certain that I was doing Amber Amethyst this set because of Pocahontas, but when I was thinking about that, it was the aggro element.
Yeah.
But then I want to make the Nani banishing all card work. It will never work in that archetype. That's the problem, right? Like, how can I'll just put one just for fun.
You'll never ink up to
I'm never going to have enough ink. That's it.
So that's everything for Amber. And yeah, Amber has just knocked it out of the park.
It's insane. And actually, I think this brings us to the end of Amber as well. We've seen all Amber cards. Not all Amber enchanted. Have we?
I'm not.
So we have the iconic Pocahontas, and what we saw? And the banish all characters. I keep forgetting Storm.
Yeah, and we saw Ohana means family.
So we were missing one enchanted form, and plenty of epics.
Has to be a character, I would guess, because they've got two actions.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So really cool. Yeah, as I said, I think it was high time Amber got a bit of a power bump because it has been lagging behind, I think, some of the other inks, and that's been represented in tournament results. Yeah. So really cool to see that. And then we'll move on to Amethyst.
No, we won't. I think the Enchanted for Amber is going to be the Lilo playing the thing.
If they do 3 Lilo and Stitch Enchanted cards for Amber, I'll be super happy.
I think it's going to be.
Okay.
I think it's going to be.
So, Amethyst now.
Let's do it.
So, starting us off in Amethyst, we have Sven Leaping Reindeer, a 4-cost and inkable 2/3 questing for 1. He has Rush, he has Challenger +3, and he has Evasive. So, a lot of doing everything that that Amethyst wants to be doing. I think it's a fine card. I think the uninkability does hold it back a little bit, and I think really Amethyst has other things, mainly Genie, you want to be doing on turn 4.
But that's it. I think that's what we're raising on the main stage, right? I think Sven introduces an unusual expectation that at turn 4 now you can be defeated, right? Because he has the evasive, has the rush, right? We're not used to that. We're always waiting to get to a 5th with Elsa to be able to actually do the exerting and everything else. So there's that element. He's bringing 1 turn earlier that threat, so it is cool. But I also don't know with the whole uninkability. It's such a big difference.
I think
and he's not strong either.
Yeah, I think the threat of Elsa though, she force exerts. He doesn't. So yes, you can't turn sideways potentially because he could come down and hit you. But so
but it does, of course, the challenger is a big plus as well.
I think when Genie gets rotated out inevitably, then
they'll replace it.
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily replaced, but I think then there'll be slots open for a card like this.
That's true.
And then only one other card for Amethyst. Really, most of Amethyst was already revealed. This is Christopher Robin joining the fun. 2-cost inkable, 1/3 questing for 2, and he's the underdog for Amethyst. If this is your first turn and you're not the first player, you can pay 1 less to play this character. And I do think Amber got the best underdog with Angel. I think it's such a powerful card. I would say Amethyst got the second best with Christopher Robin. I think even if he didn't have underdog, like a 1/3 questing for 2/2 is a good card. We've seen that in hyper aggro decks in the past. So I think some of the other underdogs get less good after turn 1 versus Christopher Robin.
There's a lot of rave for the Sapphire one as well. People are very excited, but we'll get to that. Which actually have a segue, I want to say. We have a post about Meet the Underdogs on our Instagram. So we go through all 6 underdogs, 1 for each ink type, and we explain what we think is the advantage of those. So I'm showing you on screen this post. Just go on Instagram and go check it out.
But yeah, I do think Christopher Robin is a card that's going to be in every aggro, hyper aggro Amethyst deck, and a card that stays quite good even when you're not going second, which is what you want. So we'll drop those 2 cards into the tracker and just 1 card remaining for Amethyst.
Apart from the out arts.
Yeah. So super exciting. And then we'll go straight to Emerald. And we have a bunch of cards in Emerald to look at. First of all is Tod Knows All the Tricks. So this is the legendary card that the Enchanted card is based on. We won't talk about it too much because we did already talk a lot about the effect, but really cool. I love that all of the Enchanted, it seems now, are just different perspectives on the same scene. So it's got the same fish, it's got Tod, it's more from above. Here we're seeing it more from below. Absolutely beautiful. And this is where Matthias and I disagree, because I do think you can see Tod's characteristic facial expressions in this.
It's a very pretty fox for sure. I can't say Tod. I can't say Tod.
Fair enough. Next up, we have Chernobog, a natural force. He's a 5-cost and inkable, 5/4 questing for 2 with the ability Dark Dance. When you play this character, you may shuffle chosen opposing character into their player's deck. If you do, that player may play a character from their discard for free, which is a really interesting effect. So functionally, it's removal. So if your opponent sets up something really big that you don't have an answer for, you can play Chernobog, but then they can replace that with something out of their discard pile, which I think is really fitting for a Chernobog effect. So really, he's going to work best when your opponent doesn't have anything good in their discard pile. Maybe they, have nothing in their discard pile is the best case scenario, but you can pair it with some of the effects we've seen in Amethyst, which will allow you to move things out of discard piles. So you could potentially remove something from your opponent's discard pile, put it back into their deck, and then play Chernobog, and then they don't have anything good to play after it. So I think a fascinating one. I think maybe we'll find a home as a one of or a two of in Emerald. But yeah,
I'm just thinking, imagine this art as an enchanted. Like all the cutouts of the energy from the graveyards on the corner, like framing it, and he's on the top. That's gonna be epic.
It's really cool, actually. The effect and the art really do marry with that. So that's awesome. So now we're going to look at more of the Fox and the Hound cards. And here you go. This is a card.
This is Tod. I can see Tod there.
But this is when Tod is young. So it's easier when they're in
but that's what I mean.
Version. So this is Education or Elimination, a 4-cost inkable song. Choose one, draw a card. Chosen character of yours gets +1 law and gains evasive until the start of your next turn, or banish chosen damaged character. Really cool one. So like I said, a lot of effects that really want to synergize with Tod, because you can quest with Tod and then target him with this song, ready him, he gets the law, you quest a game with him. But I think it also can work on a character that isn't Tod. So being able to give the law and then protect a character with evasive is super powerful. And then it's also got the secondary one of banish chosen damaged character. I think these effects where you have that choice, so it flexes with how the game is going. So if you're ahead, maybe you're going to want to use the questing, and if you're behind, maybe you want to do the banishing instead.
That's really cool. It's beautiful. Yeah, seeing all the other characters as well.
Yeah, I love this art a lot. Next up, we have Vixie, Forest Friend, 3-cost inkable, 1/3 questing for 2. He has the first ability showing up. If you have a character named Tod in play, you pay 1 less to play this character, and evasive. So being able to play a 1/3 questing for 2 evasive on turn 2, pretty good.
Just pretty.
And yeah, super, super cute. I love her expression, and Oggy does such great art. Next we have Copper, Champion of the Forest, a 5-cost inkable, 3/5 questing for 2. He's a Floodborn, can shift at 3, and has more to explore. Whenever this character quests, your characters with evasive get +1 law this turn. So again, more synergy there with Tod, but a card that equally works well with just evasive heavy decks. And
what is the synergy with Tod? Sorry.
He's evasive.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see, right? Like you quest with him, you have your Tod, you ready your Tod.
Oh my god!
I think there's some crazy combos you can pull out with this, and blown away with this art. Like Copper is just so cute.
That could be the Enchanted as well. They could do the pair. Imagine.
I think they have to. I think they have to do the pair.
Please do the pair, please.
And so yeah, not much else to say about this card, but I do love it. And then we have Copper, Hound Pup, a 1-cost inkable, 2/1 questing for 1, who is kind of your shift target for the Floodborn Copper with the ability Found Ya. When you play this card, chosen player reveals their hand. So the kind of Diablo effect, which is quite nice. Sometimes it is helpful to know what your opponent has, to know whether they have answers to the things you want to play. So it's a card that's good even later in the game, and sets up the shift line.
Yeah, they really mention on main stages, almost like a lot of times people will use the Ursula just to look at the player hand. It's not always about just getting the song right. So this does that for you still in Emerald, and he's a puppy.
He is a puppy for the puppy enjoyers out there. So really, really happy to see that. And now, I have to warn you, the next card is going to make you feel emotions. This is Tod all alone. 1-cost inkable, 2/2 questing for 1 vanilla. So a shift target for the Floodborn Tod. If you play him on 1, then you can play your Vixie on 2, which is, really great synergy. And yeah, it's just nice. Again, like it's a theme around a franchise and a bunch of cards that are all working toward that kind of that theme. It's worked really successfully, I think, for Lady and the Tramp and maybe not many other decks. So hopefully this set we're going to see some Fox and the Hound decks getting built.
And Lila Stitch, right?
Yeah. And yet more characters from Fox and the Hound. We have Dinky, has the brains, 2-cost inkable, 1/2 questing for 2 with the ability Get Him. When you play this character, each opponent chooses one of their characters and deals 1 damage to them. So this is an example of dealing direct damage in Emerald. Yes, your opponent gets to choose, but still it synergizes with the next card, which is Boomer, has the beak, 3-cost inkable, 4/3 questing for 1 with the ability Spotted Him. When you play this character, you may exert chosen damage to character, so you can kind of have this 1-2 punch of putting Dinky on one turn, putting Boomer on the next turn, or even both on the same turn. Could be quite nice. And I love the storytelling in the art. It's not the same, it's not continuous, but it is the same scene from a different character's perspective, which is really cool. And I love that we have Boomer in the game, so we can say okay Boomer all the time. and the third card that's also, I believe, part of this same kind of story is Squeaks, Cozy Caterpillar, 2-cost inkable, 0/4 questing for 1 evasive. And he is snug as a bug whilst Boomer and Dinky try and get into him to I don't know what they would want to do with Squeaks.
We don't want to know. He's evasive. He
Yeah.
can protect himself.
Yeah, and it's really cool because another evasive character in this kind of grouping of Fox and the Hound. So works also with the Copper. So you're not just relying on your Tod synergy. You've also got more synergy there. And then, of course, we couldn't have all of the gang without Big Mama, clever and calming, a 4-cost thinkable 3/4, questing for 2 with Ward. I think never underestimate Ward. It's, yes, we're getting board wipes back into the game. There's the Philip combo, there's the new one, but I do think Ward is a very powerful ability, and especially with kind of more removal coming into the game, targeted removal, then having a warded character like this can be quite good at helping you close out the game, which you sometimes need in Emerald.
Yes.
But great to see Big Mama. Next up, we have Minnie Mouse Mrs. Cratchit, a 5-cost inkable 3/4, questing for 2. Also has Ward and has the ability A Mother's Love. When you play this character, you may put the top card of your deck face down under one of your characters or locations with boost. If you do, draw a card. And I actually think this is a really decent card, actually. If you think about Big Mama, who's a 4-cost, who has exactly the same stats with Ward. Minnie, if you have your boost character in play, then not only is she boosting them for free, you're also drawing a card. So yeah, I think Emerald boosts is probably the one that's the most successful, maybe combined with Sapphire, because you could do some crazy things with this and get some really fun combos off.
That is super cool, yeah.
And great to see Minnie there. And then the last card we're looking at today for Emerald is Aladdin on the Edge of Adventure, 3-cost inkable 2/3, questing for 2 with the ability Quick on his feet. Whenever you play an action, this character gains evasive until the start of your next turn.
It is interesting going back all the way to the first chapter where Aladdin was on one of the decks, right? It was the Emerald deck.
Yeah.
And it was all about actions. It was a very action-heavy deck. So it's like bringing back those actions to apply the evasive. Yeah,
If you want to build like an Infinity Aladdin deck, maybe.
That is cool.
So really not much else to say about this card.
Oh, he's going inside the treasure.
Guardian.
Right? 'Cause that's I was trying to understand. That's so cool. Okay.
And the desert is frozen.
Yeah.
So let's drop Aladdin and all of those other really fun cards into the tracker now. And before we go to Ruby, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of today's video. The first one is Voltex. Voltex have a wide selection of beautiful and incredibly good value binders. It's the ones we choose to protect all of our cards. If you want to get your hands on any Voltex products, you can visit them on voltex.com and use the discount code Inkborn10 at checkout in order to get 10% off your whole order. And the other sponsor of this video, Heavy Play. Heavy Play have their Equip Mag system that allows you to connect your deck box to your dice box and your playmat, all with the power of magnets, which make it super easy when you switch tables when you play. They also have their curved sleeves with curved corners, which mean you'll never have a card upside down in your deck again. You can visit them at heavyplay.com and once more use the discount code Inkborn10 at checkout to get 10% off the whole order. Okay, so thank you so much to Voltex and Heavy Play for sponsoring this video, and we're going to... What are you doing?
It's a heart.
We're going to look next at Scrooge McDuck, Ebenezer Scrooge, a 4-cost uninkable, 4/3 questing for 1. He has 2 abilities. The first one is Payment Due. Whenever this character quests, each opponent loses 1 law. Draw a card for each 1 law lost this way. And Foreclosure, at the end of your turn, if an opponent has 0 law, you gain 1 law.
Okay, first... This is the cutest villain I ever seen. Like, he looks so friendly, I gotta say. I don't blame him. He loves his money. I'm all for that.
He's looking happily at
I'm
his
okay.
coins.
I would like to share the money. And before we get into the details of all the effect, this for me gives me such vibe. It's nothing like it, but it gives me the same feeling I would have playing Prince Eric. Just because of how unique it's an effect. I think it's because of the 4 unique abilities on being Ruby. I can see myself going out of my way again to put this card just because I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
But if it is playable or not, I'll let Charlie talk about it.
Yeah, I think a really fun one for multiplayer, because if you're able to, like, if you're playing in a 4-player game and you reduce 3 law and draw 3 cards, like a lot of fun. Outside of that, in Core Constructed, I'm not so sure. I think, I don't think losing law right now is that punitive that you would kind of want to run an effect like this on a 4-cost and inkable. I mean, if this card was inkable, maybe. I don't think it needed to be an inkable personally, but
I agree. Actually, I think inkable wouldn't break the balancing that much either, and it would actually be more approachable. But for me, is and I think they said that in the main stage as well, is pushing towards asking them to quest at that point, because a lot of people hold back, right?
Yeah.
Especially in Ruby where you're controlling. So you're playing a different style that you would expect from Ruby.
Which is cool.
Which is cool, exactly. And I think the other part of that is likely you're going to get at least a card, right? You're going to survive one turn at least, I think. Very likely just one turn in that case.
Yeah.
And you will draw that one card, given as long as your opponent has a lot to lose, right? But I like it.
Yeah.
It's just every time there's something that is so different, like again, Prince Eric was, I think it's so
Yeah.
special. And I want to use that card.
Next we have Olaf, Snowman of Action, 9 cost Inkable, 4/4 questing for 2. He has 2 abilities. The first one is about time. For each action card in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character. And Chaotic Collision, when you play this character, each opponent loses 2 lore. A fun one here, I think. Obviously, like, his stats are okay. We have Mushu, Dragon Dragon, who's a 4 cost Inkable, 4/4 questing for 2. So if you're able to get to Olaf out at turn 4, you know, you've got basically the same stats as a character that doesn't require the setup. Yes, your opponent loses the lore, which maybe is pertinent for a Ruby deck, because then you know, it gives you somewhere to fight back against aggro decks. Maybe in like an action heavy Ruby deck with Maui Half Shark, and then things like Pirate's Life, where you are churning through a lot of actions, then you can get Olaf out quite cheaply.
Yeah.
And because he is inkable, you could run, you know, a full play set of this in a deck, and then, you know, by turn 6, if you've got a bunch of actions in your discard, then you could be playing a lot of Olafs for not very much. So yeah, I don't immediately see where he's going to fit, but I do think he has potential to go in some decks.
Yeah. And of course, actions or songs are also actions. We always keep reminding people about that. But if you have songs, if you have just normal actions, they're all considered actions.
So far in the game, every song is an action, but I wonder if we're going to get to a point where there's going to be just songs that you have to sing. You can't.
I wonder. They could do that. It wouldn't be too hard.
It'd be interesting. Anyway, that's a tangent. Next up, we have Farzao, Honorable Warrior, 2 cost Inkable, 1/4 questing for 2. With the ability Battle Wound, this character enters play with 2 damage. Yeah, it's an okay card.
It's very similar to the Mulans we've seen before, right?
Yeah,
I feel like it's around the archetype of you come in and you are damaged.
Yeah.
And also in the past with Mother Gothel, right? And stuff like that. But in the past, it made sense because you wanted to heal. In this case, I think it's going back to Mulan again. There's a lot of synergies with the whole being damage as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We're going to see a card that benefits from Farzao's damage. But yeah, maybe in Amber Ruby, you can use Ohanamin's family to get the card draw. But
it's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. Next, we have Liquidator Iced Over, 2 cost Inkable, 4/2. No ability to quest. Has Reckless and also is an underdog, so you can pay 1 less to play him if you're going second and it's your first turn. So I think this one's okay.
I love this one.
Yeah, Mateus, you could show Mateus anything in Ruby and he'd
No, but it's just I love how he's strong, right? He's very strong. If you're playing him,
yeah, he is strong. He is inkable, which is good. So if you don't want to play him on turn 2, you don't need to, because he is, I think, one of the underdogs that is much better on turn 1. But it does give you a way to fight back against early aggression. So there are cards like Daisy Duck, Donald's Date in the meta. So being able to play this gives Ruby maybe a little bit of breathing room. Even if your opponent doesn't exert their Daisy, at least you're stopping them earning the lore.
And it's the fact that also he has 2 willpower, right? So he's there for 2 turns.
At least 2 daisies.
Right, 2 daisies. And I think it makes a big difference, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see about this one. I don't think this is going to have the same impact some of the other underdogs will, but I also don't dislike the card. Next, we have Scrooge McDuck, Ghostly Ebenezer, 2 cost Uninkable, 3/3 questing for 1. He is a ghost, so you can boost him for 1 and has the ability Counting Coins. This character gets +1 strength and +1 willpower for each card under him.
I like this.
Yeah. I thought you were going to mention the reveal.
Yes, that is awfully and there's Lorcana. They always do the cutest reveal. They're like a couple and they always do together the characters. So they literally play the scenes as if they were Scrooge McDuck and the visits of all of the ghosts of the past, the Christmas past. It's so cool. You have to watch it. And I think they could be running for one of the best reveals this set, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool, and you should check it out. The reveals do take people a lot of time. They really put the effort in.
And it's so cute. It feels so Disney as well. But you don't have anything to say about this card?
I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, we do have a lot of synergy in the Nightmare Before Christmas. I wish in Mickey's Christmas Carol around boosting, so you could boost him for free. He could be a shift target for the legendary Scrooge McDuck, but. Yeah, it's just hard, I think, right now, because the that kind of boost deck hasn't been explored, so it's difficult to know is this one of the cards you would fit in, because you don't put him, I think, in a regular deck in most cases. You probably would rather run Diablo in Ruby instead. So not too much to say. Next up, we have Scrooge's Counting House, Ebenezer's Office. This is a 2-cost inkable location, move cost of 1, willpower of 4, and it gives 1 law per turn. And it's our first location with boost, so you can boost it for 2, and has the ability Good Business. This location gets +1 willpower and +1 law for each card under it. So similar to the Scrooge we just looked at. Not much to say about this one. I do think this can be interesting. The fact that not only is it improving the willpower, but also the law. So you could really get this quite big. So yeah, anything that's going to put more cards under here for free is going to make this just really cool.
I'm just already imagining how do we calculate this when you are ongoing, right? Especially with willpower, and I'm not talking about the lore. Yeah. But you're going up, someone does put a damage on you, but you have more lore, and then you remove the damage.
Yeah.
It's going to be so many back and forth, because it's not like resist, right? It's actually damage. I don't even know how to formalize, but I also like that card. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you're going to build that.
I think I'm going to have to play that. Yeah.
I think you're going to have to play Sapphire this set,
I know,
because it's got all the synergies. Next, we have Marching Off the Battle, a 4-cost inkable song. If a character was banished this turn, draw 2 cards, which really cool to see this kind of card draw for Ruby and as a song. Ruby does want to be challenging, and it desperately needed some card draw that paid off challenging, so that's great. It doesn't have to be banished in a challenge also. It could be banished with a song, with an action, which I think is definitely in Ruby's wheelhouse. And I don't know if this is the card that like fully unlocks Ruby Steel, but I think this is definitely the kind of card that Ruby Steel needed to be a viable deck. So
not that it matters, but also if I were to sing this song in the beginning of my turn and do everything else, I'll still draw. I think it's important to say that. It's throughout the turn or during the turn at any moment, right? Is any moment of the turn, no?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Could I sing and then do everything else and now I'm going to draw?
No, I think you'll have to do this first.
Why?
Because it will do a check. When you do the song, it goes into the bag.
Yeah.
And then it's going to check, was a character banished this turn, yes or no?
And then so how would they phrase that if it was at any time?
It'd be something like, yes, anytime this turn that a character is banished, if it's the first time, draw 2 cards.
Okay.
I think so I think you would have to.
That's something cool to confirm, but I think you're right.
Yeah. And I just want to shout out the art on this one. It's really beautiful. I'm a sucker for cards that have like bomb lighting, and this is...
it's cool to see the whole gang as well.
Yeah, amazing. And then last for us in Ruby today, we have Mulan, ready for battle. She is a 4-cost inkable 4/3 questing for 2. She has 2 abilities. The first one is Noble Spirit. If you have a character in play with damage, you pay 1 less to play this character. And Fighting Spirit, if you have a character in play with 5 strength or more, you pay 1 less to play this character. So really fun one there. We saw Farzao, so Farzao would have reduced Mulan's cost by 1. If you've got something like Prince John Frady Cat in play, who is someone you can play on turn 3, is a 5/5, and then you could play a 1-cost character, and then that would immediately make Mulan a 2 because he would have his damage on him as well. So a fun one there. Again, I'm not sure if it is like entirely playable, but it is nice that you could get a 4/3 for 2 in for 2 ink.
And that's the maximum, right? You can only go down to 2. There's no way to pile that up, but still,
which is
quite good for turn 2.
Yeah.
No, but that would be too hard.
It would, but certainly when I first saw this card, I thought it was stackable, but no, you're right. Having looked at it closer, it's not stackable, but still, maybe in kind of like a more aggressive Ruby Amethyst, we've seen that now, right? With things like Diablo on turn 2. So if you are able to kind of set up that kind of play style, maybe you would play a card like this, but I'm not so sure. But another card with really awesome lighting. I love Mulan cards in general. I think it's just always looks so good. So let's drop the Ruby cards into the tracker now.
I do think Ruby quite grew as well. For the last 2 days, we got a lot of interesting cards. It's bringing Ruby back to the map, I think, in a way. But then when we see Amber and we see Amethyst, I still think that those are the 2 colors. Even Sapphire is falling behind those 2 now, which is a surprise for me. But I don't think Ruby is there yet.
Me neither.
I think Amethyst is bigger than Ruby 1,000 times, even for the cards only announced for this set, I think. But I'm very excited,
Okay. And with that, let's look at Sapphire. And starting us off in Sapphire is Wipeout. This is a 2-cost inkable action. Put chosen character with bodyguard or item into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. Yeah. My brain messed up reading that. It's like a character with an item, but no, it's a character with bodyguard or an item.
Yes.
So, which is cool because, it's good to have some item removal. We know that it is, less so now because there are fewer item decks in the metagame. But if there are item decks, then it's really good to
have a way to deal with that. It's just interesting because it almost feels like a card that they're put there to combat and go against Umber.
Yeah,
they know how problematic Umber can be, so they gave something. Just take out those bodyguards. Yeah. Imagine if you drew a card as well.
No, that would be too much. But yeah, as Matteo said, it is a good way to out the bodyguards. We do have Chief Powhatan in Amber, which is a really good bodyguard. We also have the Steel John Silver.
Yes.
Not John Silver, John Smith. John Smith bodyguard, who this could be a good target for.
Yeah.
And, if there's a world where everyone's playing giant Mickeys, then this is a really clean way to answer him.
But what does John Smith does with actions? It just says that he has to put the action on him. So he's the target anyway in this case. Yeah.
And really happy to see David again. It's like one of my favorite character designs.
He's dressed. It's been so long that he's been undressed. We've been seeing him dressed nowadays.
Next we have Gosselin Mallard, Curious Child, 3-cost inkable, 1/3 questing for 2 with the ability Keen Gear. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an item card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So very similar effect to Scuttle, who is a card that saw kind of some play prior to rotation. This is kind of costs 1 more, but she quests for 2 lore. And I think the thing with Scuttle in Sapphire is you often didn't want to be playing them on 2 because you wanted to be using your ink acceleration abilities. So I think maybe Gosselin could work, but item decks in Sapphire just aren't really a thing at the moment in the metagame. Maybe it's going to change.
Back. Yeah, I'm sure it's coming back.
There's actually been so much support, right, for items
the Tamatoa again, right?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, with Darkwing Duck, it's very focused around items. We're going to see some items, so I do think she supports that strategy.
I just like seeing Gosselin here. We were talking about that yesterday, right? Yeah. Where's Gosselin? And where's her friend? We get to see him as well, but yeah.
Next we have Splatter Phoenix, Rejected Artist, 2-cost inkable, 1/2 questing for 2. She is amazing. She has the underdog ability, so if it's your first turn and you're not the first player, you pay 1 less to play this character. And she also has Ward. So I've kind of, I know you said you'd seen a lot of like people really high on this card. I've seen people kind of thinking it's not so great. I think some of the other ones, like again, Angel, she really fits into a playstyle that we know Amber wants to do, which is singing. I think Christopher Robin really nicely fits into an aggro deck and furthers that playstyle. I think right now Sapphire aggro isn't the biggest deck. We've seen the Kiwi Birds deck, which I think is a card that a deck that this card would fit into, but kind of normally the identity of Sapphire is about gaining ink, or it's about items, right? So I think one of the cool things about this is you could play Splatter on 1, and then on turn 2 you could already sing 1 jump ahead and then do Tipo or Sail. So you could double ramp, but I think outside of that, I'm not sure many Sapphire decks need a card like this necessarily. Okay. I think is what I'm saying. But also Sapphire is generally kind of more geared toward that kind of control style. So maybe this is deliberately there to kind of encourage other Sapphire playstyles. But yeah, absolutely in love with her outfit, and she is beautiful. Next we have Blue Smoke. This is a 1-cost and inkable item. It has 2 abilities. The first one is Theatrical Entrance. If you have a character named Darkwing Duck in play, you pay 1 less to play this item, so you can do it for free. And Cloud of Mastery, exert, pay 1, mystery, sorry. Cloud of Mystery, exert, pay 1, banish this item, chosen character gains ward until the start of your next turn. So actually not too bad. Maybe, again, if we see these kind of item heavy blue steel decks built around Darkwing Duck, then something like this could work.
I don't see why it had to be an inkable, I'll be honest, because it's not a very appealing card at the moment. Why does it have to be an inkable as well? But again, it's in Sapphire, so I'm all for that.
Yeah,
give all the
and Sapphire has sneaky ways to get rid of their uninkable cards, so I think maybe it's that balance. But not so sure about that one, but I'm curious to see what people cook, and maybe in Infinity it could fit into a Sapphire Steel item deck. Next we have Daisy Duck, Isabel, a 3-cost inkable 2/2 questing for 3 vanilla. So I was just saying, Sapphire not really a color we associate too much with aggro playstyle, but it does have some tools, and Daisy Duck definitely fits into a more aggressive style version of Sapphire. And if you give her ward, then she sticks around long enough to quest. So yeah, so that's it. So we'll drop those cards into the tracker now for Sapphire and almost finished Sapphire. I think only
Very
2 more
close.
cards.
I think so.
Maybe.
We're showing screen right now,
Yeah.
but
Plus-
so close.
Plus some Enchanteds. I can't wait to
Of course,
see.
there's all the still missing all the epics and Enchanted.
Sapphire Enchanteds always look so good.
We haven't
because of
seen
the
any.
color palette. We haven't seen any yet.
Not right?
Yeah, I
no
don't think so.
Enchanted. Oh my
So-
god. Yeah.
Cannot wait. And then with that, we're going to go into Steel. And starting us off in Steel, we've got a little bit more Gargoyle support. This is Angela, Night Warrior, 3-cost inkable 2/3, questing for 1. She has 2 abilities. The first one is Shadow Power. When you play this character, you may give chosen character Challenger +2 and Resist +2 until the start of your next turn, which is pretty cool. And also Eternal Night, your Gargoyle characters lose their Storm by Day ability. Really fun,
She
really
literally
fun.
turns off. She makes the Eternal Night on
Yeah.
top of them, and she does the thing. Angela did the thing.
She did the
She's
thing.
amazing.
Oh my god. A really cool effect. I think gargoyles right now are very underexplored, and I think they, funnily enough, I mean that's the design, right? They were held back a little bit by the Storm by Day. Like we even saw Lexington early on. People were playing him, but then they quickly found that, oh no, actually playing him on turn 3, you often can't ready him if you've used him once. So having something like Angela, even if it just is something your opponent has to deal with to prevent your gargoyles readying, I think is good.
She's good just by her first effect on her
Exactly,
own, right?
yes,
Being
exactly.
a cost 3, yeah, it's insane.
Because being able to give the challenger the resist, you can give it to herself to keep her around for longer. You can give it to one of the characters that are already on the board. Helps you, challenge, helps you be defensive against your own characters, and it can also.
It's
help
literally
them
until the next turn. It's, she's fantastic.
I love this
She's
card.
fantastic.
Yeah,
And it's beautiful, the art as well, right?
Yes, yeah. The night sky and it's gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Next up, we have Duke Wesselton, Surly Crook, 3-cost. Duke Weaselton, 3-cost inkable 3/3, questing for 1. With the ability Apprehended, when this character is banished, you may play a character with cost 2 or less for free.
It's amazing as well.
Really cool. So it's like Lady Family Dog, except instead of on play, this is when he leaves play. He is a 3/3, so those are decent enough stats at a 3-cost character. Maybe a little bit under the curve now, but still it means he can take out a lot of early game.
He still has to be banished, so that's the difference, right? Because with Lady, at least,
It's
you
guaranteed,
guarantee. With him, he might go to the ink, he might go elsewhere.
Yeah, but
it's really good.
I think the thing is, like, if my opponent is using one of their removal songs to deal with Duke Wesselton,
that's
like
fine,
if they're
right?
putting Duke Wesselton into the ink, well, great, I've got ink.
That's it.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily like it puts them in an interesting position, and more effects in Steel, allowing you to play characters for free.
Sure.
Definitely feels like one that wants to be going in, and maybe a Lilo and Stitch deck where you want to be playing, because imagine this with the Rockstar Stitch, and then you're playing the character for free. It's exerting. You're playing another character for free with Lilo. It's exerting, and
that is cool.
doing
That's
a lot
so
of
cool.
stuff. So love this card actually. Next we have Grand Councilwoman Galactic Authority, 4-cost and inkable 3/5, questing for 3 vanilla. So just a good solid quester. Not too much to say about her. I think I still would probably prefer Mayor Wind Dancer in this slot. Obviously he doesn't quest for as much, but he has much better stats on him than her.
It's a shame about the unikability, but I do think that there's so many alien synergy, right? That
Yes, that is true.
With her,
Yeah.
including in previous cards, that she touches the alien synergy. So maybe there's something there that we're not seeing yet.
Yeah, and I absolutely love her outfit.
Just
Yeah,
fierce.
Matheus did a fashion video a long time ago, and I keep nagging him to do another one because the fashion, the outfit design of
It
these
just gets
characters is
better and
amazing.
better,
And I think
yeah.
especially because she's not a story, but she's a Dreamborn, but it's the snow setting. I don't know
Yeah.
if these outfits are based on like a snow episode from Lilo and Stitch the series, or
I'm guessing because the Dreamborn is just a completely new outfit, right?
but, beautiful there. Next up, we have Darkwing Duck Dark Warrior. He has a 5-cost inkable 4/5, questing for 2. He has Challenger +2 and Insta Armor. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, this character gains Resist +1 until the start of your next turn. Synergizes really well with the item we saw in Sapphire, so you can banish that, you can give him ward, and then he'll also get the Resist, which could be quite nice. It is just cool to see this kind of support in that archetype, kind of a Sapphire Steel item deck built around Darkwing Duck. So curious to see what people are able to build with it, and I know he would love if Hiram was still available as a card in the game. Another item also supporting that synergy and playstyle is the Thunderquack 3-cost inkable item. Has 2 abilities. The first one is Vigilante. All opposing characters gain the villain classification, and Lay of the Land, exert if a character was banished in a challenge this turn, gain 1 law. Has some really nice synergy with Darkwing Tower, which was a location I think we looked at in the last video. And we kind of wrote it off a little bit. We said, it's too inconsistent because, your opponent might not have any villains in play. So this item definitely works with that, because then it does turn on some villains, and then you can use
and there's
that
more
location.
right to that, because it synergizes with the enchanted legendary Darkwing Duck himself, because he can attack ready characters as long as they are villains.
Yeah.
So you get him inside the Darkwing Tower during your turn, you banish, you can ready him again, and you can keep doing that. Of course, you cannot quest, but you can keep doing that, and then you'll be earning the lore as well.
So really cool. It's just a shame that you've got to exert to gain the lore on the Thunderquack. I think it's a little bit stingy. I feel like it should have just been a passive.
Is it a one-off though, or
because you
every
exert
time?
The item?
But as long as the item is exerted, could I gain 2 lore if I banish twice?
No. Yeah, that's the thing. So because it's an exert, it's you. That's how you activate the ability.
Okay.
So that's the only downside to that. Next, we have the Terror that flaps in the night. This is a 2-cost inkable action. Deal 2 damage to chosen character. If you have a character named Darkwing Duck in play, deal 3 damage instead. Perfectly fine. I mean, again, if you're building that Darkwing Duck deck, then yes, this can be quite good, dealing 3 damage for a 2.
I just wish it was a song, right?
Yeah, but at least it's inkable, so I think that's
fair.
the...
And that's from Ari Valley, and we got to see this art ages ago. That's when they first announced Winterspell and Darkwing Duck. That was the key art, so it's there now.
And that was when? Was that
That was
Gen Con
2025?
Yeah.
4? I don't know.
No, it was the last
5?
Gen Con, so quite a long
while.
time ago. Next, also from Darkwing Duck, we have Launchpad Hideout Defender 3-cost inkable 2/5 questing for 1 with the ability Stand Guard. Your locations gain resist +1. Works again with Darkwing Tower. Actually good in just a location deck, like Amethyst Steel locations is still
not bad, right? It has a 5 willpower.
Yeah, so maybe one that'll see play outside of the Darkwing Duck deck. Next we have Darkwing Duck Crime Fighter 1-cost inkable 2/2 questing for 1 vanilla. Shift target for the Floodborn and non-Floodborn. Oh my goodness, shift target for the other Darkwing Duck who's not a Floodborn. But not much to say about him. Next we have Containment Unit, a 2-cost and inkable item. It has 2 abilities. The first one is I Got You Now. When you play this item, choose a character. They can't challenge or quest while this item is in play. And Energy Source at the start of your turn. Choose and discard a card or banish this item.
I love this.
Yeah, I love the art. It's incredible.
I love the concept of the effect as well. The fact that it's there. It's not like you choose the character and it's forever, right?
It's
not just for this turn.
Pay,
you have to pay to maintain that effect, but as an opponent, if that guy is paying all the time, it's going to be so hard for them. Yeah.
But it's negative card advantage. So maybe in like... I want to say Amethyst Steel, where you are drawing a lot, you can kind of afford it. But it is interesting, this idea that you might be able to like set up a few of these, right, and lock down a bunch of characters. So one to watch, I think. It is a really, really fascinating concept that I do find interesting. Next up, we have Li Shang, Valiant Leader, 7-cost inkable 9/5 questing for 2 Floodborn, so you can shift it 4. But he is a vanilla Floodborn. I'm not sure we've seen too many vanilla Floodborns.
No, we didn't. I think isn't this the first one?
The first vanilla.
I think that's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. Right?
Yeah, normally they have like an interesting effect, but Li Shang just hits like a truck.
It is crazy.
Because nine
Imagine
strength,
that at turn 4.
9 strength at turn 4. Yeah. Really, really cool. And last but not least, we have Judy Hopps, Snowball Patrol, 2-cost inkable 2/2 questing for 1. She is the underdog for steal. If this is your first turn and you're not the first player, you pay 1 less to play this character.
That's not bad either.
Yep. And resist +1. I think maybe the weakest of all of the...
Do you really think?
I do think, yeah. I think steal, you're just going to... Whatever the ink you've paired it with is the one you're probably going to want to use on turn 1. I just think it doesn't make a big enough impact. I think yeah, because you've got Calhoun, right, who's a 3/2 with resist who comes down on 2 normally. So that's kind of what you're comparing it to. Judy is inkable. I just wish it was like if she had something like Calhoun's ability where it's not only does she have resist, even if she was like a 2/1 or something, right? She has resist, but when she banishes a character, she gains a law or something. Okay. Just to kind of lean more into the identity of steel, what it wants to be doing. Maybe if it like did a damage or something, maybe it would be too powerful. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna really give Steel too much of an advantage going second.
I do hope that we get to see more underdogs for every set. I think it's such a cool concept, right? It's gonna be a good test run, but independently, it's a good concept.
It is a really cool
in
concept,
general, even if the abilities are not always nailing every time, but it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I hope this is just like the introduction, as you said. This is the set that's just getting us warmed up, used to the underdog, because I do think it is a great way to help them mitigate that going second disadvantage. So.
And it generates a lot of questions, right? A lot of people that are new players, they didn't even realize there was an advantage. Yeah. And we're like, you better realize very fast because it is a huge advantage, or it was.
Probably they were like us. When we started playing the game for like the first 3 weeks, we're like winning the dice roll and then be like, no, I'll go second. I want the extra
I want to draw the card, exactly.
So let's drop Judy and the rest of those steel cards into the tracker now. And there we go. That's the reveals for today. So like loads of really interesting things. Like it's hard to not speak for 3 hours. Like I could spend 3 hours just talking about the board.
Just my thought.
Well, that and the board wipe for Amber, whose name I always forget. It's Raging Storm. Yeah.
So, stunning. Beautiful. More and more excited with Winterspell. More and more terrified with what we're gonna do for Ghent. Because if you don't know, we're gonna be in Ghent to play at DLC. So come say hi if you are there. We will have some pins. We'll have some goodies to give you. So go and come say hi to us.
We have tickets for the main event, but we were like calculating the numbers and we're like, you have to win 5 rounds in order to get the Mulan card, which we already bought for $30.
So like we're gonna just buy it so it takes out the pressure.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just like play side event.
No. I told Charlie we'll play as much as we can, and when we fail, we go to side events.
Yeah, once we've got our 3 losses and we can't get the Mulan anymore, we'll just draw because
take some nap. We're also going to Disneyland Paris, so if you are there during those days, come say hi. It's gonna be a nice trip overall. One more shout again to Instagram. So hi Instagram. Can I shout to Instagram? So because review season is coming to an end very, very soon, a lot of this speed is going to come from the post on Instagram. So go check it out as well.
Yeah. And do let us know down in the comments what your favorite reveal from this video was and which is your choice enchanted for this set, because every time I see a new one I change my mind. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give us a like, as it does help us out at the channel, and subscribe because there's going to be a bunch more content coming for Winterspell as we get our hands on those products.
Yes.
And of course, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Voltex. Visit them at voltex.com. Use the Inkborn 10 discount code to get 10% off the order, and also visit Heavyplay at heavyplay.com. Same discount code Inkborn10 to get 10% off your whole order. Whew, there we go.
This reminds me we need to order our binders for Winterspell.
We do.
Yeah. So let's do this right now. Let's finish this video. Let's order those things in. And thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. If you do want to find out more how to join us, just click the join button down below for all the details. And thanks for everyone else that is also just joining and staying
hanging out and commenting.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And until next time, happy questing.
Happy questing.